Remember these? Nike Shox were the hot thing back in the early 2000s, and no one rocked them quite like Vince Carter. The Shox VC II is big and bold in this white and red colorway. Let's take a look. Hey all, what is up? Reese here, and I've got a brand new sneaker video to bring you. This is actually the first video in a series that I'm calling Remember These. The idea is that we'll take a look at some of the older sneakers in my collection, and that might be, 4 or 5 years old from just before I started a YouTube channel, all the way to maybe 10 or 15 years, or even older if there's a pair that I've held on to, or if I find something interesting like on eBay. And I really want to focus on looking at some of the shoes where there's not maybe as much information or not as many videos out on them, so we can kind of look at it as a fun way to share some information and kind of start some fun discussions. We'll kick things off this week with the Nike Shox VC II. This was a signature shoe for Vince Carter. The colorway listed on the box is white, varsity red, and sport red, and these released back in 2002 with a retail price of $150. Now, as we're going through this video, I'd love for you to leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this shoe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Nike Shox in general, and if you have a favorite Vince Carter signature shoe, definitely let me know what that is down below. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and finally, if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all my latest videos. Now, we don't really see too much from Nike Shox today, but back in the early and mid 2000s, this was a really popular technology. There were plenty of models that featured this cushioning system for a lot of different sports. You had running shoes, training shoes, but one of the sports that really adopted Shox the most was definitely basketball. I've actually touched on this in another video that I'll link down in the description, but it was actually the 2005 Nike Shox Lethal, which was a basketball shoe that I had in 6th grade that really got me interested in shoes in the first place. Now, obviously, this model came out a few years before that, so I hadn't actually heard of it when I first started getting into shoes, but over the years, I've kind of noticed this model, and I think at this point, it's probably my favorite sneaker to feature Nike Shox. I just love the full-length Shox cushioning setup. I think it's just a really cool design, and it's one that I've wanted to have in my collection for a long time. Now, the name would suggest that this is Vince Carter's second signature shoe. It's actually his third with Nike, however. The 2000 Nike Shox BB4 was technically what Nike considers to be his first signature shoe, and that's the shoe that he was wearing in the 2000 Summer Olympic Games in Sydney when he dunked over a French player who was 7'2", which is just crazy. That was followed up by the VC1, which featured a kind of interesting like zippered shroud on the upper. I was never a huge fan of those, but this is a design that I can definitely get behind. It was inspired by a Bentley, and it's just got some kind of really smooth lines. It's got a nice design, even though it is a bit clunky. It's got definitely that early 2000s kind of basketball sneaker vibe. As far as this exact pair is concerned, I was able to find these on eBay recently, and I was really happy. I check every now and then for the VC2 and a couple other older Nike Shox models, and it can be hard to find a pair that's in my size that's in reasonable condition. Also, these are used, but they're in really good shape, as you'll see in the close-up view, and I'm just really happy to have them and to start rocking them. But with all that said, we'll dive now into a close-up view where we can take a look at the colors, materials, and everything going on with this sneaker. We'll kick things off with a look at the box. These do come with the kind of traditional Nike Shox box. Unfortunately, as you can see, the seller decided to use only this box for shipping. So there's that shipping label taped on, and they literally just taped the lid shut. The box is still in pretty decent condition other than the tape everywhere, but that was a little bit annoying and unexpected. You've got your Nike Shox logo right there. At the back of the box, you've got 5 dots indicating that this was part of Nike's Alpha project. Over here, we've got that box tag, and then also up there is the original Finish Line sticker showing the retail price of $149.99. Getting into the shoe itself, these feature a predominantly leather upper. Here for kind of this overlay, you've got a smooth leather that does have just a bit of texture right in there. You can see there's also some red piping running up around the edge. This wraps around all the way here at the heel over to the medial side. Then the rest of the upper features a more tumbled leather that has a lot of perforations. You can see that right up there, kind of at the midfoot and collar, down here at the toe box, and then up onto the tongue Here at the outside on the lateral side, you've got this kind of jeweled swoosh in red with a metallic silver or chrome lining. On the medial side, you've just got a debossed swoosh right there. For the tongue, you've got right up here a little tag that says Shox, and then at the top, Vince Carter's signature. These feature white laces with silver or chrome tips. You've also got a silver lace ornament down here that features 5 dots again for Nike's Alpha project. At the rear of the shoe, you've got this Vince Carter kind of pull tab right there. And then it's cool, you've got Vince Carter's logo on the inside of the medial side of the collar, and then you've got this cutout on the lateral side so you can see through to that logo. The lining of the shoe is red, and then in the insole you've got Nike Shox branding in white. Moving down to the midsole, you've got this pretty aggressive TPU heel counter here on the lateral side, not nearly as much on the medial side, but then looking at the Shox units themselves, you've got kind of your traditional 4-shock system here at the heel, and then basically a miniature version of that under the midfoot within these 3 slightly different shaped Shox columns right up here under the forefoot. The medial side looks pretty much the same, and then you've also got your Nike Shox logo right back there. Flipping to the outsole now, these have a really cool looking outsole. It's definitely not a traditional like traction pattern. You've got kind of this cross hatching right up here through kind of the center, and then you've got these red circles which kind of look like they're under each of the Shox units, and that's true for these rear 4, but as we get up further, they actually kind of sit either just in front of or just behind the Shox, but they do give the outsole a pretty interesting look. Once again, you've got your Vince Carter logo right there, kind of in clear plastic. That'll about wrap it up for the review of the Nike Shox VC II. If you haven't already, I'd love to hear down in the comments what you think about this shoe. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day.